Hello, ladies. Welcome to another session. This is our regular Sundays training sessions where we learn about blockchain technology, the opportunities that are available, and how we can leverage them. You're welcome, ladies. Welcome, Carol, Ruka. I see you. Welcome, Madam Bemi. Please, let's go to the community and let the women know that we've started. It's such a delight to be back after the Easter break, and I hope we had a fantastic Easter holidays, and we're continuing our conversation on tokenization of real-world assets. Today, our focus will be on strategies to navigate the tokenization space safely. Right, so you're welcome. We've been on this tokenization journey for weeks now, and I'm sure you are enjoying the conversation. We've talked about what tokenization is, how it works, the opportunities available to women, different career opportunities that women can leverage, and so many other areas we've touched. So feel free to go back to our YouTube channel if you've not seen any of them or you missed any of them. Please feel free to go back there, watch, and of course, leave your thoughts for us, your questions, and we'll be glad to respond to whatever inquiries that you may have. Today, like I said, we'll be continuing that conversation, but specifically on strategies for navigating the tokenization space safely. So with that said, I'm just going to load my screen so that the slides can guide us in today's conversation. Please leave me some feedback if you can see my screen, if you can hear me, and you can see the presentation slide. Please do leave me a message. I want to be sure we are all together. All right, so today we're going to be talking about strategies for navigating the tokenization space safely. Yes, we know that the space is still emerging. Like I always say, tokenization has been the hottest topics in the last 2 years, and currently there is more adoption. We have the likes of BlackRock already talking about tokenization of real-world assets and how the adoption can expand and more people can take advantage. So it's such an interesting conversation, and I'm happy that here at Bitcoins, we are having that conversation at the time that we should be having that conversation. Yes, thank you for your feedback. You can see my screen and you can hear me. Oh, great. So if you're meeting me for the first time, I'm Christy Emmanuel. I'm a blockchain educator for women and founder of Bitcoin. So I welcome you to Bitcoins. Bitcoins is a community that is helping women learn about blockchain technology, cryptocurrencies, Web3, and how they can empower themselves with the information that they are getting. And what we are doing here is creating a community where women feel supported, they feel confident and excited to explore the endless opportunities that are within this space. So in sessions like this, we provide you with insights, we provide you with tools, knowledge, information that will help you take advantage of the enormous opportunities that are within the space. So you're welcome. If you're not already part of our community, please do leave us a message in the chats, or if you're watching us live on YouTube, then leave a message and we'll leave you more information on how to be part of our community. So you're welcome to today's session. And the highlights for today's conversation will be, first of all, understanding the risks that are associated with tokenization. Yes, we've talked extensively about this particular subject, and it's important that we understand the risks and, of course, look at strategies that will help us navigate the space safely. And at the end of this conversation, we're going to interact. So at this time, if you have any questions or you have any thoughts, or you have any experience that you want to share, that will be the time to leave them. You can unmute yourself and speak, or even drop them in the comments. They will all be attended to. So let's talk about tokenization and women's financial inclusion. Just like we said, tokenization is decentralizing ownership of real-world assets. That is, giving the opportunity for more people to co-own a piece of assets. And we said that that asset is real-world asset, meaning real assets that you can verify, that you can see, or even if you cannot see, because assets could be tangible or intangible. No, the opportunity for people to co-own that asset with the asset owners is what we call tokenization, and blockchain makes that possible. And we looked at the opportunities that this presents for women, especially the fact that it provides a means for women to be financially included and to be able to take advantage of different assets, not just within their community or where they live in, but also take advantage of global assets. So accessibility is one way that women could be financially included in what's happening in the tokenization space, because you're no longer limited to just traditional investments or just assets that are within your own locality. You can have access to global businesses and take advantage of the opportunities that they bring. The flexibility is there because you don't need a ton of money to participate in tokenization of real-world assets. So women can even come in with as low as $100 to participate. So that flexibility is there. In the traditional sense, if you wanted to play in real estate, you will need a lot of money. You either outrightly buy that property or you are putting in a lot of money with these property owners. So the flexibility that this comes with is such a huge one that women can now begin to take advantage of different assets, no matter where they may be, with as little as $100, for instance. And this is a game changer, if you ask me, when it comes to women's financial inclusion in the tokenization space. Of course, it is transparent because this is on the blockchain, and so women can track their investment, they can track the movement of their money, they can see the tokens, they can see what's happening in the exchanges, they can see what is going where and all that. So the transparency that tokenization comes with is such an advantage for women to be able to track their investment and see what's happening. Then the opportunity for women to also belong to communities where they can collaborate, where they can share ideas, where they can expand their knowledge is such a huge advantage. And in this 21st century, information, knowledge is the new money, because if you belong to a community where you constantly get information about what's happening, about where the world is headed in terms of technological advancement, that's a huge advancement. So all these are advantages that tokenization comes with when it comes to women's financial inclusion. But all that said, we understand that the space is still evolving. Tokenization is still in its infancy stage. And so it's important that we understand the risks that are associated with this tokenization space. And so the first thing we want to do is to understand the risks and to make informed decision. And so we're going to be looking at three challenges or three areas that pose as risks for women's participation in the tokenization space. So one of them is regulatory uncertainty. Like I said, the space is still evolving, and as such, regulations differ from place to place, from region to region, from country to country. That's because even the regulatory bodies are still trying to understand the space, and so cannot, as it were, lay a framework, and that poses some kind of a risk for those who are taking advantage, because both for the business owners who are bringing their business or they are bringing their assets onto the blockchain, and even investors, that is we women, this can be a hindrance to taking that bold step or taking advantage of the opportunities that are available. So it's important that we understand that the regulatory framework for the tokenization space is made clearer, and then women can take informed decisions. So this is one risk, and we're going to be looking at how to navigate this regulatory uncertainty. Then another challenge that women can face in this space is market volatility. And this could be as a result of maybe, what the media is saying, or even the fact that that particular asset has not gained some kind of wide adoption, right? So all these market sentiments, what people are saying, the time in which people are in, what they think, and things like that. So all these are factors that contribute to market volatility. So if you have an asset that has a huge market cap, for instance, meaning that people have put their trust already in that asset, then the rate at which it fluctuates sort of reduces. It's a bit more stable than asset that you do not have much inflow of funds, or people have not gained interest or confidence in that particular asset class. So all these market volatility, as it were, is one challenge that women face in taking advantage of opportunities in the real world asset. So let's look at the next one, which is probably the last point we're going to be talking about in terms of understanding the risks that are associated with tokenization of real world assets, is cybersecurity threats. Remember, these projects are built on the internet because of the digital nature, right? If you have a piece of real estate, for instance, you know where the location of your asset is, you have your papers, you have your documents, you have everything. You can't just wake up one morning and say, oh, your building has disappeared, because it's physical, you can see it. And once you have the documents, anywhere it can be proven that it belongs to you. But for digital assets, they are brought onto the blockchain. That is, these assets and their ownership or co-ownership are brought onto the blockchain. And so holding the tokens to these assets represent your own ownership. So if you're not careful, if you lose your password, or if your private keys is missing, or if someone sees it, things like that could actually lead to you losing your digital assets. So it's important to understand that these are risks and that they exist within the tokenization space, so that we can take the right steps towards mitigating those risks. So with that said, let's look at what we can do to keep ourselves safe while still taking advantage of the opportunities that are available within this space. So the first is navigating the regulatory uncertainty. Like I've said, regulations differ from country to country. That doesn't mean that there are no regulations within the cryptocurrency space. No. For instance, Dubai has what we call VARA, that is Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, which is a standalone body that regulates everything related to virtual assets and cryptocurrencies within that region. And so because there are different laws governing not just different jurisdictions, but even different assets, it sort of makes it a bit daunting to navigate through that space. But what we can do as investors who are seeking to take advantage of the opportunities, we need to stay abreast of global regulations. So we need to know what's happening in that space. Where are the talks happening? What conversations are happening? And what jurisdictions have regulations that support virtual asset business, cryptocurrencies related businesses, tokenization? So if you have that information, it will also help you seek for opportunities within those areas, because then you know that whatever investment opportunities you're taking up or tokenization projects you're taking up within such areas, there are laws backing such activities. So that's one way. Then also seek legal advice. Remember, you may not know everything, you may not have legal background, so you would need someone who has such expertise to advise you, to open your eyes, to even help you with due diligence, to see if the company or the platform that you're about starting your tokenization journey with have licenses, if they have approvals, if the area in which they're operating, they have laws, and if they are compliant and things like that. So this is what you would need: a person with a legal background, especially if the person has also knowledge in the blockchain space. So that's what you will have such a person help you do and give you advice so that you can take informed decision. Then join the conversation for clearer regulations, because the more we have these conversations, the better it is for everyone, for the token issuers or the owners of these assets, and even for us who are investors. We need to be part of the conversation so that we have a clearer regulatory framework that will benefit the entire blockchain community. Because the more and more adoption we have, then the easier it is for others who are coming after now to also take advantage. So conversations like this is laying the foundation for easier adoption and entry into the blockchain space and, of course, the tokenization space. So let's look at how to mitigate market volatility. I told you a number of things can bring about market volatility. Like I said, the blockchain space is still evolving and prices fluctuate due to different reasons. It could be for economic reasons. It could even be for sentiments, what people are saying, what are in the narrative. For instance, now the two most important narratives in the blockchain space is very strongly tokenization, meme tokens, and layer ones and layer twos. So you see that if tokenization as we speak is the narrative, it means that the news, sentiment will favor tokenization, which of course will help for more adoption and of course even better price movement for these tokenization projects. So you have to understand what causes market volatility. And this market volatility is more like a double-edged sword. It can help in pushing the price in the upwards direction, which will mean good returns on investment. It could also go in the opposite direction. So you have to understand the market situation and then see how you can mitigate that by making informed decision and taking the right steps against loss, as it were, in the space. Remember, technological advancements can also lead to that. Areas where you have more technological advancement, or countries or jurisdictions where you have more technological advancement, people are more positive-minded in those areas. And areas or regions where people are still playing catch up, the regulatory framework is not even clear. The regulatory bodies don't even understand what's happening in the blockchain space, let alone being able to promulgate laws or lay down laws that will guide such industry. So such factors can affect the prices of tokenized assets, as it were. So you need to understand all these things so that you make informed decisions. So how do you mitigate market volatility? First of all, understand the market dynamics, like I've said. What are people saying about this project? In fact, the asset itself, the asset class, for instance, real estate. What are people saying about real estate? What's the enormous value that real estate has? What about aviation? What about entertainment? So you need to understand the dynamics. You need to understand the assets that is in question, and then understand the regulatory news, understand the mindset, what people are saying, the trend. Like I told you, tokenization of real world assets is among the top narratives within this time. And of course, if you've not heard, we are in what we call the bull market. That's the time when the prices or value of cryptocurrencies and cryptocurrency projects move upwards. So all these narratives, understanding them can help you make informed decision when taking advantage of tokenized assets within the blockchain space. Then diversify your portfolio. That adage, don't put all your eggs in one basket, holds true here also. So you want to spread your investments. Maybe you can have a little of tokenized real estate, tokenized aviation, tokenized movie or music, art. You can spread your investments so that even if one asset is not doing well, the others that are doing well will cover up for the ones that are not doing well. And so in the long run, you would have made appreciable progress than otherwise. So to diversify your portfolio is still strong strategy and clear advice that anyone should consider anytime, any day when making any investments or taking advantage of any opportunity within the blockchain space. Then adopt a long-term approach. Have a long-term mindset. Remember, like I said, tokenization is still in its infancy stage. And so even with market fluctuations in terms of price, it may not matter at the short term, but in the long run, because tokenization is one of the ways in which disruption is coming in the way people participate in the ownership of real world assets. And the fact that big corporations like BlackRock, that is an asset manager that manages assets of over $9 trillion. So when you have institutions like this talking about tokenization, talking about the value it can bring, talking about the disruption it can bring in the participation of ownership of real world assets, then in the long run, this is really going to take off and it's going to really change the world. So that long-term approach is what you need, in the tokenization space, because like I said, it's still in the infancy stage. But if you have the short-term approach, you just want to buy and take your profits right away, because when you have digital assets, you have tokens representing ownership of these assets. You can actually trade them in the marketplaces. You can buy, you can sell, you can do anything. You may not maximize the potential that these projects come with. So best to adopt that long-term approach so that you give your investment the opportunity to grow and expand. That's one way to mitigate market volatility. We go to the next one, which is cybersecurity measures. How do we mitigate cybersecurity threats? Remember, the assets you're holding are digital, and for that you need to hold them in wallets, for instance, personal wallets. So you want to make sure that you're adopting the best practices. Make sure that you are using strong and unique passwords. You don't want to use passwords that you've used across different sites, maybe the same password for your Facebook account, for your Instagram account, for one other platform that you're using. No, you don't want to do that. You want to create a strong, unique password for your wallets or platforms on which you are leveraging these tokenization projects. You also want to keep your seed phrase secure. You don't want to save it in your phone. Please don't do that. Don't send it to yourself as a message. Don't send it to yourself on WhatsApp. Don't save it on your phone, maybe in a folder. Please do not do that. The risks are high. You don't want to save it on your laptop, please. The best way to do that would be to write it out on a book or your diary and keep it where no one can reach it. You can also store your digital assets offline, in cold wallet, that is in wallets that are offline. And when you want to access it, you can also bring it online and connect it, more like hardware wallets. In our previous presentations, we've talked about keeping our digital assets secure. So if you missed that, I encourage you to go back to our YouTube channel. You should be able to find the presentation and watch it again. So same thing applies here when it comes to protecting your tokenized assets. You want to adopt best practices as much as possible. The passwords should be easy for you to remember, but not easy for any other person to guess. So all these are important. You also have to set up two-factor authenticator or even multiple factor authenticator. So as many layers of security that you can add to your wallets, to your accounts, to platforms that you use, please do so. So that's on adopting best practices. Then choose secure platforms. So this is where your due diligence will come in, because you want to be sure of the platform you're using. If it's a web-based platform, you want to be sure if they have security measures in place, what's their plan in case there is an attack, if the site goes down, or if there's a cyber attack on the platform. So you want to understand all these dynamics before making a choice of platform to use. You want to be sure that that platform is secure. You want to also see that you can access your information anytime. It's not a platform that will always be having hitches or going down or breaking down and all that. So you want to be sure that the platforms on which these tokenization projects are launched, that you are also leveraging, have this level of security. Then it will be important to do regular audits and updates. So if you're using wallets, probably you've downloaded from Play Store or App Store, check from time to time if there are updates, because updates take care of loopholes or any potential challenge that may arise. So that's why developers go through the codes with which they build these wallets or apps from time to time to see if there are areas they can make better and if there are loopholes that bad actors can take advantage. So you want to make sure that from time to time you are updating such apps or even such platforms. In case you get a message, some platforms or companies will send you a message, we are bringing updates or maintenance. So you have to comply. Whatever information they give you, whatever you are asked to do, ensure that you take action immediately. Don't delay, because we're talking about your assets. We're talking about your participation in global businesses, and you don't want it to be at risk for any reason. So take action when necessary. For instance, like one of the platforms I am leveraging in this tokenization space, I observed that they even have a record of the number of devices that I'm logged onto. So each time I log in, I see the number of devices. I can even check my activities. When last I logged in, what activities happened, even the location from which I logged in. That way, I'm able to monitor what's happening so that if there is any foul play or I'm suspecting anyone having access to my account, I can take immediate action by maybe changing my password quickly, or writing support, or taking other measures that will ensure that no one is actually taking advantage of my account or my data or my information. So all these are measures that we need to put in place so that we can stay safe in the tokenization space. So finally, before we go, let's look at strategies for navigating the space. Now that we've looked at the risks and we've seen the things we can do to overcome these risks, how do we now stay safe in that space? Number one is always do your due diligence. Do not delegate it to anybody. Don't leave this to chance. Don't conclude that others have done it and for that reason it is okay. No, always do your own due diligence. Look out for the platforms, look out for the projects, look out for the company in case it's a company you're taking advantage of. Ask questions. Where are they located? Do they have license? Are there laws regulating digital assets in that area? You know, what are their plans in case there's a cyber attack? All these are things you need to understand. The asset itself, how much is it worth in terms of value? The paperwork, is it done? And things like that. So this is the time you want to do your own due diligence. You can go as far as checking their socials on Twitter, especially because that's where most blockchain conversations take place. So there you can see what people are saying in their community, what the sentiment is like, are people bullish on that project, and things like that. So you want to really pay attention, read the white paper, you know, check their website, check out the founders. They are on social media. You can find them, ask questions. So these will form, you know, all you need to do when it comes to doing your due diligence. Then diversify your portfolio, like I've already said. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. You can decide to take advantage of real estate, a bit of entertainment projects, a bit of art projects, a bit of drone, a bit of sports. In that way, you are able to mitigate risks and, of course, give your portfolio the opportunity to do well in the long run. Then keep learning. There is more. The space is still evolving. And so you cannot keep that aside. You cannot say, oh, now that I have taken advantage and found a project, let me just relax. No, you don't forget about your tokenization journey. You don't forget about all that's happening within the space. You have to keep learning. And that's why here at Bitcoins, we continuously bring you information, insights, tools, knowledge that you need to stay safe and to do well in your blockchain journey. So keep learning, keep learning, keep learning. Leverage a community support. You cannot do this alone. I mean, even within the blockchain community, we are still having conversations. You know, founders are still organizing events, having conversations. People who are taking advantage, users, are still having conversations. So that's to tell you that there is power in community. So you want to find a community and belong, where you can be part of what is happening, you can have conversations, you can express yourself, and you can also learn a lot. And thankfully here at Bitcoins, we have a community that is helping you in your blockchain and your tokenization journey. So do well to be part of the community, and you will be glad that you did. So these are strategies that will help us stay confident within the blockchain space. And with that, we come to the end of today's conversation. We looked at the risks associated with tokenized assets and, of course, strategies for staying safe within this space. So if you are enjoying the conversation, you're loving it here, and you're not yet part of our community, what are you waiting for? This will be the time to do so. So you can leave us a message in the chat, or if you're watching on YouTube or any other platform for that matter, please leave us a DM or a private message, and we'll leave you with all you need to be part of our community. Or you can also write us at bitcoinshq@gmail.com, and we'll provide you all the information you need to be on board. Yes, we are still out there looking for more women to join our community, especially the Bitcoins team. So if you have skills in community management, content creation, video editing, graphics design, social media strategies, or any skill whatsoever you think that will benefit the community, please feel free to reach out to us at bitqueenshq@gmail.com and give you all the information that you require to be part of the Bitqueens team. And follow us on all our social media channels. And if you have any inquiries, please feel free to write us on the email that is on the screen, and turn on notifications so that you get to know when we drop valuable content such as this, or when we're having great conversations, so that you can be part of, the conversation and share your thoughts with us. So with that, we come to the end of this week's presentation. It's time now to get your feedback, to get your reactions, to get your contributions, to get your questions, whatever it may be. This is the time we have to interact. So I'll just stop sharing my screen now so that I get your feedback, ladies. Yes, I see Coach Oge in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, Carol says, thank you, Coach Christy. Very informative session. Oh, thank you so much for that feedback. And we're happy you feel that way about today's event. Yes, thank you, Ruka, for your feedback. Yes, happy Sunday to you, Coach Oge. Okay, so does anyone want to share? This journey has been so exciting for me, and I'm sure it's been exciting for you too. I love to talk about tokenization and the opportunities it holds for women. We've talked about a lot in this short period of time about tokenization. We even looked at careers that women can take up within this space, the opportunities. We even looked at real world projects that you can leverage, and we made a few recommendations. So if you missed any of those fantastic sessions, just go back to our YouTube channel and you'll be glad you did. So any questions, any contributions? Do you want to share any experience? Please feel free to unmute yourself. Carol, you're on.
Well, yeah, I've had a dodgy experience, not doing enough due diligence, as you've just stressed, the importance of actually really understanding what you're getting into. And also diversification, not wholly diversified. I'm just in, well, a couple of areas, but it's mainly in, what would you call them now? Independent, oh, my mind. Independent, not coins, but independent. Like Sol and yeah. So, and when is a good time? It's going, as you talked about, the fluctuation, market volatility, and it's on a boom at the moment, and I think it will be on a boom till Bitcoin halving takes place. So it's, do I sell now? Do I hold? Do I? So yeah, this is really informative, and lessons learned, definitely lessons learned, and I've been there, and there's room for improvement, and that's why what you're doing is so needed and so beneficial. So thank you.
Yes, you're welcome, Carol. Thank you for sharing, for contributing to today's conversation. Yes, we obviously have to pay attention. Doing our due diligence before taking advantage of any project can never be overemphasized. And yes, we learn every day, and that's why we here at Bitqueens are doing the much we can to make sure that you stay informed and, of course, take informed decision. So thank you for that wonderful contributions. And at this point, I want to mention that in our next session, we're going to be looking at factors to consider before choosing any tokenization projects. Yes, factors to consider, both on the side, on your own side as an investor, and even on the side of the companies or the tokenization platforms, as it were. So it promises to be a deeper and more insightful session next Sunday. So you don't want to miss out on that. So I encourage us to go back to the house and even share what we learned today. That way it will boost the interest of those who couldn't make it and make it a duty to join us next Sunday. So let's continue the conversation in our community. Here at the Bitcoins team, we are more than happy to have brought this to you. And like we said, next Sunday, we'll be back again with another interesting session. So do well to join us, engage with the content across social media, as it were. Like, share, comment, ask questions, leave your inquiries. You could leave it for us in the community or reach out to any of the team. Until we come your way again, on behalf of the Bitcoins team, this is me saying thank you for coming and bye for now. Bye, ladies. Bye, Madam Gbemi. Yes, she says, thank you, Coach Christy, as usual, for your good work in keeping the community abreast of happenings in the tokenization space. Thank you so much, Madam, for your kind words, and we hope to see you here again next Sunday. Bye, everyone. Bye, Ruka. Bye, Oge. Bye, Madam Carol. Bye, Gbemi. See you next time. Bye-bye.